So what happens when the church comes together to worship? We've got Jewish converts and we've got Gentile converts. Now, Miss Florence, whose songs do we sing? And the answer is, we sing both. That's Paul's message. There's no room for disunity in the church. How we worship is a reflection of how we grew up. Church, I'm going to say that one more time. This would be the second thing if you were taking notes that you'd want to write down. How we worship is a reflection of how we grew up. It's culturally defined. Let me give you a great example of this. We have some people that come to church every Sunday morning and they wear a coat and tie. On the other hand, we have some people who dress like Nathan and do not. And I pick on him because he's my brother and I love him. We have a lot of people who end up in the middle. I don't wear a tie. You know why I don't wear a tie? You ever worn a tie trying to play guitar all day long? You're like this. Pulls your neck down. That's why I don't wear a tie. I don't like to wear a tie. Is there a biblical mandate regarding wearing a tie to church? Because you know, within the New Testament church, there was no such thing as a tie. There's no biblical mandate to wear a tie to church any more than there's a biblical prohibition. But you know what we do? We fight over that. We fight over that. You know what else I've seen us fight over in church? We fight over what time to do church. Well, bless God, Mama took us to church at 11 o'clock. Can't have church at 10:30. You know what I pray for? I pray for the day when we have to run multiple services. I pray for the day when we get together and say, look guys, we're doing 3 services on a Sunday morning. We got nowhere else to put people. We're going to have to start doing services on Saturday night. Would that not be wonderful? Would that not be wonderful? And you know what will happen when we do that? People will fight about that. It's what they do. We fight over nothing. Church, listen to me. In the 20 years I've been in ministry, I can count on one hand the times that the church has had division over doctrine. And I can tell you stories till next Christmas of the church fighting over the type of music, the volume of music, the instrumentation of music, the songs that we sing, how many people should be on stage, how we dress, when we start. We had a church one time that was up here in Nassau County. It's right on A1A. We had a lot of people from Yulee. And what do people from Yulee do on Sunday afternoon? They go to the beach. People would come to our church in flip-flops. Because you know what they were wearing under their clothes? Their swimsuit. And there were some people that were upset about that. Really? They're coming to worship God. You can come in barefoot for all I care. Just come and worship. I need to wrap this up. Let me share a couple quick things with you. I have seen within the church, not this church. When I say the church, Gene, you understand I'm saying the church corporately. I've seen within the church a clash that is not Jew versus Gentile. It is senior versus youth. And I will see those who are our elder members of the church will say, I want to sing some of the songs that I know. I want to sing some older songs. And conversely, I will see some younger people in the church saying, I want to sing a new song. Let me just tell you from my own personal experience, you cannot please everybody. My friend Donna over here is shaking her head. When we were at the Bridge, we had a band, and the Bridge was a ministry to single adults. There was nobody in the room over about 32 years old. Okay? It's mostly young singles. You were there. All right. We had this band, and we had been playing this body of songs for a couple of years. We had 5 people there of the 200 and some that said, we need to do some new songs. We want y'all to learn some new songs. We want to learn some new songs. They had been on us for months. So a couple of us got together and we found the CD and we said, man, these are some good songs to sing in worship. So every Friday night we would do 5 songs. We told them, in 2 weeks we're going to introduce 3 new songs to you. Next week, we're going to introduce 3 new songs to you. And boy, those 5 people are like, man, y'all going to do this song. It's going to be great. Yes! We did that, and those same 5 people, came up to the band afterwards and said, it's hard to sing those new songs. I've never heard them before. You see what I've been dealing with for 20 years? We fight over the stupidest stuff, and we fail to have unity in the church. Church, let me read you Colossians in context. Verse 12. Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another. And if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you, so you must forgive. And above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in what? Perfect harmony. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful. And then he says, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God the Father. I want to share with you 2 illustrations, and then I want to close. Buster, in the church we were in, it was a very young church, and we did a lot of very new music. A ton of new music. We did very few hymns. We had a young man in our church named Justin who's out in Bible college right now. So Justin, if you're watching this, props to you. Serve the Lord. But I'm telling on you. Justin had grown up in a contemporary church. He never sang a hymn in his life. He was a big country music fan, and he bought a Brad Paisley album. And Brad Paisley is one of my favorites. On every album, he puts a hymn. And I was over at Justin's house one day talking to his mom, and he comes in and he goes, oh, Mom, John, you got to hear this song. You've got to hear this new song, man. It's a worship song. We need to be doing this in church. I've never heard a song like this. He was all amped up, which is so not Justin. And he puts in this CD, and Brad sings, on a hill far away stood an old rugged cross. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, we need to do some hymns. This boy needs to learn this stuff. It's out there. It's good. Here's what I want to show you. Justin did not know that that was outside of his cultural context, and he immediately accepted it. Conversely, church, listen to me on this. I was at Hillcrest Baptist Church when I was in college. And one of our single ladies had a friend come in town that he was a traveling singer. And he came in, had no hair, was a big old boy. And if he's watching this at the time, he had muscles. He had an earring. And he sang a special. And man, what a voice. What a voice. Afterwards, a whole bunch of people were over talking to him. And we're standing there talking to him, and man, what are you doing? Well, right now I'm getting my band together, and we're trying to get a record deal. I've got a company that has signed me. I just have to put a band together. And in the meantime, with some friends of mine, I'm doing ministry to troubled teens. We go in and we do ministry in like jails for teenagers. That's what he did. So he showed up to church in jeans, a decent t-shirt, an earring, and no hair, because that's how he went into the jails. We're having that conversation, and a gentleman walks up to him and he says to him, son, what are you doing? And he told him. And he said, well, that's fine, son. You got a great voice. And then he put his finger in this young man's chest. And he said, but there's no place in the house of God for that haircut and that earring. You need to get rid of that. And you need to fix that, and maybe God can use you.